So what we've really tried to do from a career point of view is really like stick with this, what we've learned from creating for the internet. Because when you make something and you establish it online, what you're doing is you're putting a kind of flag in the ground creatively on that idea, on those characters, on that concept, and you're really taking a risk, you're taking a gamble, you're investing your own time, money, effort, and resources into actually creating a thing and putting it out there. Now, this is beneficial for you on a lot of different levels. Firstly, it's beneficial for you because you get to learn what your audience likes, dislikes. You can be as reactive or non-reactive to that as you like, but when you are putting content out online, you have a live reading on how well you're doing at that. You know, we've had videos where the instant response is, "This is fucked, this is the shittest thing, take it down, die of AIDS," what, you know, like what really intense kind of immediate feedback. And we've had other videos we put online where you don't think it's thousands of shares within minutes, but you have this ability to be creating and learning from the way in which people respond to your stuff. Now that really is like a strong advantage. You know, there's so many TV shows where they produce 10 episodes of the thing, they get to episode 2 and nobody likes it and they've got to pull the show from air, and there's that wastage of 8 episodes that never see the light of day. So you have that potential to kind of gather this audience, grow with them, learn. You have the potential to make mistakes and get things wrong and improve and, you know, kind of learn through doing. That was a big part of our entire creative process through this stuff. And in fact, still is. I still feel like I'm in creative university and I'm still just kind of working out what my voice is comedically. And, you know, when I say me, I'm also mean our. You know, I know that my collaborators, my brother Connor and Nick, very much feel that way too, that we're still in that phase of learning, trying to craft our voice. But, you know, and then you also actually have like a legal standpoint to be able to try and negotiate more copyright ownership when you have the opportunity to take things forward. When we went to the ABC with the Soulmates show, we said, look, what we consider to be our investment is the fact that we've been making content with the Bondi Hipsters for 2 years. We've gathered a Facebook fan base of 50,000 people. At that point it was 50,000. And we've got, you know, this many views that people have seen. This is the media coverage we've received as a result of doing the stuff that we've done. We don't want to kind of sign up to do a show and just give away ownership of this, because we value our work, time and energy at several hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you were to be paying for the amount of views that we've had, you would have invested X in terms of advertising investment to get to that point. And so what that allowed us to do with our ABC deal was actually carve out Dom and Adrian entirely and the Bondi Hipsters story entirely, and we didn't have to sacrifice any ownership of that in order to make the Soulmates show, which is a big thing, because it means that we actually can, you know, when we want to do a Bondi Hipsters only show, we can just do that. When we want to keep creating Bondi Hipsters content, we can do that. If we want to have a brand if brands approach us and say we'd love to do something with the Bondi Hipsters characters, we can do that, and we don't need to be seeking approval from different parties every step of the way. And that's really important for your creative kind of livelihood. And I think if you've created something online and you've built that audience and you've established that relationship with the audience, then I think it just helps you in a lot of ways when you're trying to move forward and take things further. So for us, with projects moving forward, we're really trying to keep that approach of like, not just, you know, where applicable, of like create some content out of it, put it online and see how it goes, of working with both collaborating with people who have done that and who are growing their own audiences and who are proving stuff that works online, but also, you know, thinking forward about with any given show idea or any given film idea, what's the multi-platform angle on this? The internet is not going away. It's huge. It's such a wonderful way to grow and connect with audiences and to kind of share content that's going to add life to longer form ideas. Is like anything moving forward is what's the multi-platform angle? If the film idea is this, what are the webisodes that support it? If the TV show idea is this, how is it broken up in a shorter format to be able to be shared online? And yeah, that's kind of everything we work on has that. Now the industry, that's probably relevant in Ballina and Byron Bay, but sorry to anyone who's been bitten by a great white, and I mean no offence. The industry is evolving at the moment as a result of audiences' connection online. It used to be that having financing gave you access to audience, and that was kind of the thing that you had to get first was funding, and then you would be able to reach an audience because they'd chuck you on a network and that's where you get your audience from. But now it's like audience is giving you access to funding. So if you can build an audience online and develop that, you're one step ahead because even now things at Screen Australia and Screen New South Wales and different funding bodies and the way in which networks kind of are open to receiving pitches from people who have established themselves online. It's all backwards. It's all different to the way it used to be, and that's a real opportunity that you can get a meeting with a network and you can walk in with your analytics from your Facebook and YouTube pages and you can present that, and they'll be happy to see you. There's the little boxes that you tick on the Screen Australia and Screen New South Wales platforms. There used to be this loop that you'd be stuck in where you couldn't receive funding unless you'd made a thing. And how are you going to make a thing if you can't get funding to make a thing? And so, now that's changed where there's a box to tick there if you've had X amount of views on the content that you've created. And so, it's an awesome time to be able to be creating stuff. I think that the whole idea of the pilot has essentially been reinvented as a result of the internet too. You're finding less and less of these new SVODs are bothering to create a pilot for a thing and then letting it gather dust. They're kind of just working off scripts and financing entire series off the back of the initial idea. For years, networks all around the world have got, particularly in the US, they get to pilot season, they make 120 pilots, of which, 30 of them make it through that round, of which 4 go to series, of which 1 lasts longer than a series 2. There's just so much wastage in the production pipeline. Whereas now, we tend to think of piloting as the internet as a place to pilot something. Maybe if you've got an idea or a concept and you're thinking about writing or creating a half-hour pilot for that TV show, maybe rather than creating a half-hour pilot, maybe create 6 5-minute web episodes of that idea, and that is your pilot, and it's live on the internet. Maybe be thinking about creative ways in which, if you say you have a half-hour idea of like a way in which you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and you can have 6 5-minute episodes that kind of live online as themselves, and then you have an alternate cut of that is a 27-minute start to finish pilot, and you can be using this one to be testing with the audience and learning, and use this version to be showing networks and presenting your idea around. I think there's just so much more flexibility in the ways in which you can craft the format of a show now. The lengths of episodes can be different depending on where. There's so many different opportunities to pitch things at different lengths. There's places where you can pitch 6 by 5 minute series, places where you can pitch 10 by 15 minute series, places where you can pitch 12-minute series, places where you can do half hours, full hours. There's so much more creative potential for people kind of coming through at the moment. I think it's really important to try and maintain a balance of creating for passion and creating for income. I think one of the things that can be a giant trap when you're a creative person and creating screen content, one of the giant traps is the advertising sector, in that you can kind of go, yes, I need to pay rent and I need to live, and you can start doing ads and creating ads and stuff that's funded by the advertising sector, and that money is so great that you can then start to live off it, and you forget, you end up becoming a little bit jaded and belting yourself out in that sector and forgetting why you started creating in the first place. So something that we try to do is, no matter how busy we get with different projects, is really try to maintain a balance of like the projects that we're doing to get paid and have an income for, and hopefully they also tick the passion box too, but also just creating stuff that you create because you just want to make it and you just want to get that idea out there. There's we're working on some things that are like big budget feature ideas and big budget TV show ideas, and then we're working on other things that are things that we're getting 3 mates together and shooting in a day or two because we've got a couple of spare days and want to execute idea. We haven't stopped putting things on the internet. We've got more plans to put things on the internet and just to continually learn and grow and create for the sake of creating there. But yeah, that's just a thing for me that when I look back at my creative path and I remember that I started making this stuff to distract myself whilst in hospital being sick, and how much I got out of that personally, is not to forget that and not to stop creating with, you know, intentions that are different to just financial ones. Putting your money where your mouth is. So if you have a great idea or if you have something that you really believe in, just back yourself, meet some people. You're obviously taking the right steps because you've come today. These are the types of places you meet people that you can collaborate with. If you come to a seminar like today and one of your questions is, how do I meet other people to collaborate with and work, you're kind of answering your own question by being here. So yeah, and your money can be both your money and it can be your time and effort. I mean, with Bondi Hipsters, when we started that out, we were the ones paying to cater to feed everyone. We were the ones paying for any gear hire that we needed to hire. When there were crew members who weren't interested in working for free, we were the ones who were paying them. One of the things you can do when you're kind of starting out to be creating content is you can approach people who have something to gain from being involved in that at the start. When we started making Bondi Hipsters, we approached a DOP who had done lots of music videos, but he hadn't shot much comedy and he wanted to shoot some more comedy and get some more comedy on his reel. So for him, he was happy to do it free of charge because that was going to be some comedy work that was going to go on his reel. When we, you know, started having to engage different people at different levels, that was kind of one of the constant discussions we were having, is like, is there anything in this for you? And if not, okay, you know, here's what will fix you up for your time. And they were, you know, people started approaching us too of like, oh, I'm actually really interested in getting to do some sound work in comedy. Can I come and do some sound for you for a couple of days? And those things just start to happen once you start putting content out. The reason I've got your in an asterisk there as well is it doesn't have to be yours, because guys like Screen Australia and Screen New South Wales and the screen bodies from different states have programs in place to be able to fund multi-platform projects. So it might not be your money, it might be your time and energy in putting your pitches together, but you should be looking up those on the funding body pages to anything that's relevant to you, anything that might be able to get you some money to be able to create what you want to create and pay yourself to do so and pay those to kind of collaborate with you. Keep challenging yourself, always push yourself. For us, our transition from making stuff online to making stuff for television to now writing films and collaborating with people that are much better at things than we are is a constant. We're constantly trying to work up. We're constantly trying to work with people who are better at things than we are so that we can learn from them and so that we can challenge ourselves. By no means has any of this last 5 or 6 years been easy. We've flogged ourselves and worked harder than we ever have in any other job we've ever had in our lives. And so this, if you want to get into kind of content creation or making films or anything like that, because it seems like it might be an easy job, it's not. You'll care. If you care, you'll care so much that it'll be heartbreaking and really difficult, and that you'll be working, you know, we work really, really long hours from day to night. So just to end, where to from here? We're, you know, like I said, we're kind of starting to work on more long-form projects and collaborating with different people, but we're not stopping to make silly things and put them on the internet. Thank you so much. I hope I haven't gone grossly over time or grossly under time.